welcome from my side. I'm Christoph Ruhsam, mountain guide for software modernizations. This is, if you wonder why I have a stick, this is why. But more to the point, just a few words before also Christoph starts this talk. GmbH is focusing on one thing right now, to solve one problem, one big problem. It's keeping your software up to date. And to keep your custom software up to date is not an easy task. But the benefits are really there. We do it for security reasons, for compliancy reasons, and to free up resources for development teams. And what you're going to see is how you can achieve that in a very automated way, and how you can do that in a very automated way. So have fun with the talk, and yeah, looking forward to your questions afterwards.
Yeah, hello and welcome to my presentation about updating custom software. My name is Christoph Ruhsam and I work at GmbH IT Services GmbH for over 7 years now. I've successfully implemented our update service for 2 customers successfully, and I'm excited to introduce this innovative service to you today. We at GmbH specialize in developing custom software tailored to our clients' needs. Many of our customers run a large number of microservices that need to be updated regularly. Manually updating these services costs time and money. And sometimes the management won't even allow this update because it works right now as it is. What happens then? You fall behind. Sometimes by multiple major versions, and software gets outdated. And then it becomes a burden to catch up, and developers spend countless hours debugging code, setting up test environments, and solving unexpected problems. We at GmbH wanted to eliminate these version discrepancies for good. Our goal: keep software up to date, regularly, seamlessly, and reliably. So, how can we accelerate this update process and reduce errors in the process? That's where our update service comes in. It combines Renovate with OpenRewrite recipes to automate version updates and even apply necessary code changes. After that, the build validation ensures that everything works as expected. If the build fails, no problem. We automatically add a dev space link to the pull request. This dev space is fully set up with everything the developer needs to debug, fix, and test the update without even checking out the code locally. Efficient, convenient, developer-friendly. So that's the theory behind our update service, how it works, what tools we use, and the seamless process we've created. But I know what you're already thinking about. Does it really work this smoothly? Let me show you. Here's a live demo of how Renovate, OpenRewrite, and DevSpace come together to transform a tedious update process into something almost magical. Let's dive in. That didn't work. Yeah. So here we have a plain Microservice with a pretty outdated version. So it's version 2.16.12, and the current version of Quarkus is around 3.17 or so. So we want to update this service with Renovate. So we set up Renovate to point at this repository with the recommended configuration. we ignore that configuration for now. So what Renovate then does when it runs, it creates pull requests. But not only for your Maven dependencies, like this one, but also for example, this Dockerfile version. So Renovate scans your whole project and searches for versions and searches for the latest versions and creates a pull request for it. But that alone isn't enough if we check this version update here, because Renovate wants to update the Quarkus version from 2.16 to 3.15. And as we know, that isn't enough alone, because from Quarkus to 2 to Quarkus 3, we also need a Java update and the namespace switch from Java X to Jakarta. So what we did in Renovate there, we added a post upgrade task where that's executed after Renovate updates the version. And we can execute the Quarkus OpenRewrite recipe here, which Quarkus provides on every update to update your Quarkus service more or less automatically. So we just update this, or we execute this command in the Renovate run. So what we get then is not only a version upgrade, but in the same pull request, you also get the necessary code changes. So that alone would work and would be mergeable. That works fine. But in order to show you the dev space, let me show you that real quick. We created a failing test that more or less always fails. And if the build pipeline fails, which we can see here, the little X, we automatically add a dev space link to the pull request. And if we click on that, we get a fully set up workspace where we already have the right branch and everything set up we need for development and fixing this service. So we have a Java here. Oh, sorry. We have a Maven. We also have a Docker or Podman here. So, and what we did too is we added a dev file in this project where we can set up commands the developer just needs to execute. So we prepared a clean install, a dev run, a dev debug, so the developer doesn't need to search for the right commands, but just needs to execute it. So he can go here, run task, in the dev file, and make a clean install, just like that. That should fail, because we have a failing test. Yeah. What we can do here is we can also fix this test or fix our service if you have broken changes. Can then again run a clean install. Which succeeds now. And after that, we can also run this service and start up our application and make, for example, Postman tests against it or generally integration tests. Yeah. Not this one, but this one. And we have a Quarkus service up and running. and can do postman tests against it, for example. But what we also can do is we can call our REST endpoint and also have a live reload feature, because if we change that, save it, and reload here, we get the changes immediately. So we can fix the service here easily, can then commit the changes, push the changes, and pipeline runs through and is able to merge. And after that, we successfully upgraded Quarkus from version 2 to 3. So what are the benefits here? We have, so updates happen faster with fewer manual steps. The process is less error prone, and developers can fix issues directly in the dev space without even having to set up the service locally. This means developers can be more productive, focusing on implementing features instead of spending lots of time updating services. And as another key advantage, we as GmbH integrates the service directly into the customer's CI/CD pipeline. So it's not a product that runs at GmbH and accesses your repos, but it operates entirely in your environment. But of course, there are also some challenges. The initial setup can be really complex because every CI/CD pipeline is, and the application landscape is different. So we tailor the service to match the customer's specific needs, and that needs time. And yeah, also one of the most critical aspects are tests. Since updates are automated, we rely on the build pipeline to succeed and that everything works. So to ensure this, a good test coverage is essential. So what steps do we follow setting up the auto update service for a customer? Step 1, we analyze the current application landscape. How many versions is the customer behind? Yeah, won't need that for now.
It's really hard time keeping.
Yeah. Step 1, analyze the current application landscape. So how many versions is the customer behind? What frameworks does he use? Step 2, perform an initial update with Renovate and OpenRewrite to bring everything up to the latest versions. And step 3 is provide ongoing support to ensure services keep up to date. This way, the customer can focus entirely on feature development without worrying about updates. We also offer this service at a fixed price, which makes it predictable, both in terms of time and budget. So my Renovate demo is open source on GitHub. Feel free to fork it, try it out. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the networking part. Any questions for now?
Do you have a URL for the repo?
Sure. It's this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the dev spaces being automatically created when an error occurs. When the pipeline
Not the dev space gets created automatically, but we add a dev space link to the pull request, and if you click on that, the dev space gets generated.
Okay. So I'm not that familiar with the dev space product, so just excuse some of the questions here around that, or the question around that. One thing I don't quite understand is, so now assume you are upgrading a dependency for a test environment, for example. So you have some dependencies on other internal services, and to reach those in that dev space, you would have to pre-configure lots of port forwarding, because or you're self-hosting the dev spaces, correct?
Yeah, more or less you need to self-host this because I tried it out in the Red Hat Developer Sandbox. Yeah, but to reach your dependencies and your libraries, you need to self-host it or or you need to access this repos, yeah, from the
So
outside.
the follow-up question to that is then, how do you do you need to set up the dev space configuration before and then integrate it with your system, or where is the integration point between your system and the existing dev space system that you need to have to be able to run it?
Yeah, at one customer, he has an OpenShift. So this dev space runs in an OpenShift environment, and a pod gets created when you start the dev space, and the customer has this OpenShift cluster, so that works fine for him. But I don't really know how to integrate that if you don't have an already existing OpenShift cluster, because for that dev space, I think you need one. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
A question regarding the OpenRewrite.
Yeah.
Where was this project used? Or, I haven't heard about it before.
The OpenRewrite project in itself.
Yeah.
We use, or
Because
in this demo, I use it like this. So with Quarkus, you get a OpenRewrite recipe out of the box with every update. So you just need to execute this Quarkus Maven plugin. But there's also OpenRewrite recipes for pretty every dependency or the big ones. We have here the recipe catalog for, yeah, pretty much everything. C#, Docker, Hibernate, Jenkins, Maven. Yeah.
okay, now I can check it out.